Hey guys, what's up? It's Fern. Welcome back to another Planty video. Thank you so much for joining me. I have really been wanting to make a video that is just focused on plant styling and my favorite ways to display my plants, my favorite planty setups around my home. I've lived here for a year now, which is crazy, and it's been so fun yet challenging to figure out how I want my plants to be displayed and organized. But I feel like I found some really cool ways to do it, so I'm excited to share that with you today. I love this part of the plant hobby because it explores a more creative side that I really appreciate. A lot of caring for plants can be very I don't want to say science heavy, but kind of like you're fertilizing and you're trying to work with lighting conditions and temperature and humidity. But when it comes to plant styling, there's a lot of just freedom to do whatever you want. I love seeing everybody's different setups. We all have different tastes. And yeah, it's just brought me so much joy to display my plants around my home. So I'm really excited to share that with you today. I'm not going to say that I have the best sense of style or the most aesthetic space or anything like that, but I'm just hoping to maybe inspire you with some more ideas for your space. And I also just want to encourage people to not feel confined to one aesthetic. And this is something that I think about a lot because in today's online culture, it's very focused on different aesthetics. Like there's, just so many different like cottagecore, boho, gothic or witchy, like light, dark, coastal, so on and so on. I feel like I used to box myself in a lot. I only liked darker colors. I only liked black metal. I didn't like a lot of, bright, fun colors in my space. And whenever I liked something, but it didn't fit into that kind of mold that I was trying to fit, I wouldn't get it because I didn't think that it suited the aesthetic. And now I realize how silly that is. And I really do just have a mishmash of so many different things in my space now. And I kind of love that. I have things that are like weird and creepy, but I also have things that are very fun and playful and bright. I have different types of wood, different colors of wood. Not everything matches. I have white in my home now, which I never would have put like a white shelf in my home in the past because I always just wanted like black, dark, everything. I never would have had pink before, but I've really just come to the realization that I can have whatever the heck I want. I don't have to fit one. Just because I like one thing doesn't mean that I can't like another thing as well. I just wanted to say that in case anybody else needs to hear it because we see so many curated photos online, and I think sometimes there's a lot of pressure for us to also curate a space that like perfectly is cohesive and everything matches and is the same vibe. But really we don't need to do that at all, and we're multifaceted beings and our spaces should reflect that. Not to get too deep or go on a big rant in this video, but yeah, I feel like it just needs to be said. I love collecting different pieces that just reflect any of my interests, and I do have a lot of different interests, so yeah, it just makes me really happy to do so. Anyways, we're gonna get started. I think we're just gonna keep this super casual. I'm just gonna kind of walk around, point out things that I really like, and we'll talk about them. Okay, so by far one of my favorite ways that I've been able to display plants and also just to utilize space better has been to hang plants up on the walls. And this is definitely my favorite setup right here. I'm talking about these two plants. I'll insert B-roll, but these two plants that are hanging on the wall here, they are climbing plants. Normally you see hanging plants mounted on walls or up higher, which is part of what just makes this so cool and why I love it so much, because I'm able to mount my climbing plants up there with the Rousseau pole mounts, which I'm obsessed with. They're these wood mounts that my plants are securely strapped onto. You can see there, and then they're hanging from a hook at the top. I just put a screw in the wall and they're hanging from that. And I just think that it offers something so unique and is also efficient because I'm able to utilize the light from the second window up there. Now, I have tall ceilings in this area of my home, but you don't need to have tall ceilings to do something like this. Like you could mount anywhere, like lower on the walls. You could use these however you want to. I even have some that aren't even mounted at all. They're just keeping some of my moss pole plants sturdy. I've climbed up to give you a closer look, but I'm just absolutely obsessed with how this looks. I love it so much, and it's truly one of my favorite things about this dining room area. And I also have some sun catcher stickers, which is another thing that I really like. Not a plant thing, obviously, but there's certain home decor things that I think just go really well in planty spaces, and having sun catchers, I have several of them all over my windows, is something that I really love. They don't give a ton of rainbows at this time of year, but in the earlier spring and in the fall, I get tons of rainbows on the wall from the sun catchers. And this is an area that gets a lot of rainbows, and it just looks so stunning with the plants hanging on the wall. So yeah, that just has to be one of my top favorite ways to display plants. So I really wanted to highlight those. I know that these aren't cheap, but they are extremely high quality, like everything that Russo Plant Care makes. So I honestly think it's worth it, especially for how it's just transformed this space. Like, that was just plain wall before. And even though I'm doing this with the Russo pole supports, I'm sure that there's a million different ways that you could replicate this look yourself, like DIY or with something else. I don't know, but just this concept I love so much. So that is the first thing that I wanted to share. I think I'm just gonna stay on the theme of like hanging plants or utilizing vertical space. So the next thing that I want to point out, and I talk about this plant all the time because I love it up here, but this is my philodendron Florida Ghost, and as you can see, she is living on top of the cupboard above the fridge. So we have, oh, there we go. So we have some space above the cupboards in this kitchen. And honestly, I think that if you live in a home where you have some space above your cupboards and you're a plant person, you are in luck if that space gets any light at all. I mean, this part doesn't really, so there's nothing up there, but this part gets some light from the windows. So I did pop a plant up here when we moved in, and I wasn't even intending on leaving it up here long term, but it just looks so cool that I left it, and now she has just completely grown wild and kind of taken on her own shape, and I just love it so much. And I said this before, but it's just a reminder that you can grow plants however you want to. This is technically a climbing plant, but I like growing it trailing, and I think that it just looks really funky. It really suits the space and just adds something really unique. So yeah, I love it, and that one is in self-watering. I just step on a stool and I can easily water that once a week or whenever it needs to be topped up. This is never like a pairing that I would have thought works with this plant in this space, but it totally does work and I love it. Okay, we're entering into the bedroom because I cannot talk about hanging plants without mentioning my Wally Grow wall. So as you can see in this corner, I have a bunch of trailing philodendron and a pot of trailing syndapsis on that side right there. And this is a corner, and we've kind of made it like a cozy reading nook kind of situation. We have a chair and some blankets there. My boyfriend sits there and reads every single night, but I love how this looks with the plants kind of like surrounding that area. It's so perfect. I have a bunch of different videos talking about these Wally Grow planters. I've installed them in 2 different homes now, and I have videos on both of those installations, and also just like more in-depth thoughts on these planters after having them for a year. I have that video as well, so I can link the playlist for you. But yeah, overall, I'm super happy with these. The plants really do just add so much coziness and comfort in this room. I feel so relaxed in here. And something else that adds a lot of comfort and also brings me a lot of joy in this space is my bedding, which is by Brooklinen, one of my favorite brands ever, and they are kindly sponsoring today's video. So like I said, Brooklinen is one of my favorite brands. I am such a fangirl for them. They create luxury sheets and other home goods that really can elevate our spaces. They're very high quality, very stunning, and I have this brand new bed set on my bed right now because I really wanted to transition to something bright and light for summer. So this is actually a linen from their linen collection, which is so stunning. I've never had linen bedding before, and let me tell you, I'm obsessed. Bedding is one of my top priorities, one of the best things that I can invest into into and that I'm willing to invest into. They say you spend a third of your life in bed, but for me, it's probably more, because I love reading and relaxing in bed every single night. That's one of my favorite things to do, to just wind down. So for me, it's really important to have something that's not only comfortable and high quality, but that can really reflect my own personal style. And y'all might be surprised that I chose the cream duvet this time. I have a lot of different Brooklinen sets, all different colors and vibes and things that I use for different seasons. But I've never done just like a cream or a white before, and I've always stayed away from it because I've thought that's not my aesthetic. But like we talked about at the beginning of the video, there's no such thing as that. I wanted to try it out, and you know what? I love it. It completely brightens up this space. It looks stunning. It looks amazing with the dark wood of the bed frame. Since we are talking a lot about personal style and curating our own spaces, I thought that this was just the perfect video to talk about Brooklinen again, because they offer so many different options. They're always launching fun seasonal colors. I love all of the variety and the fact that you can mix and match over 20 different colors and patterns. I did the linen hardcore sheet bundle, and when you do a bundle, it allows you to save 20%. So I was able to get the duvet, the sheet set, which comes with a fitted sheet and a flat sheet and a set of pillowcases, and then you also choose another set of pillowcases as well, so you get 4. I love that I was able to kind of curate. Oh, and the throw. I can't forget about the throw. That just tied everything together so beautifully. It's 100% linen, and like I said, it's just so airy and breathable, so it's perfect for the summer. And linen even has moisture wicking properties, so it makes it even cooler to sleep in than cotton. I love the just like casual vibe that linen brings to the space as well. It's very just relaxed, which is the vibes I'm trying to channel for myself and my space. I've been sleeping exclusively in Brooklinen sheets for the past year and a half, and honestly, I will not use any other bedding brand. We are in a committed relationship at this point because they're just so comfortable, so stunning. I have the best sleep in them. I don't overheat, so love that. If you would like to try out Brooklinen for yourself, and obviously I highly recommend that you do, they're offering my viewers a special discount of 15% off your first order if you shop through the link down below in the description box. Thank you so much, Brooklinen, for partnering with me on this portion of the video.
Okay, look at the monkey. Decided to come make a nesty here. Hey, girl. Hey, girl.
Okay, so while we're still in the bedroom, I kind of wanted to talk a little bit about pairing my plants with my other hobbies. One of my biggest other hobbies is reading. I love books. I love displaying books around my home, and I love combining displaying books with displaying my plants. So right here I have my book cart, which I love. This is like, I guess, my TBR cart. It has all my books that I haven't, not all of them, but these are all books that I haven't read yet. I love having them all displayed on here, makes me really happy. And my philodendron gloriosum literally fits on here perfectly. She's in a rectangular pot, as you can see, and it just fits beautifully in that top tier of the cart. So I don't know, it's just such a fun and unique way to display this plant, and I love how this is also just showing off my 2 biggest hobbies. I'm gonna head out into the main living space to talk about a couple of other plant shelves that I really love. And my calyx shelf is another kind of example of combining books with plants, so let me talk about that one. Okay, so this is actually the shelf that I was referring to before when I said I never would have thought that I would like having a white shelf or like, yeah, a white piece of furniture to display my plants in the past. But this happened to just be kicking around. It came from my boyfriend's place when we moved in here, and I was like, you know what, let's just try using it since we have it. And honestly, this is one of my favorite things. I love the way it looks, and since I do have so much black, like all my cabinets are black and everything, it is just nice to have the contrast of the bright whites. So obviously I have all of my plants displayed on the top here with some other like fun little things mixed in here, which I love. Oh my goodness, this gardening ghost is one of my literal favorite things ever. But yeah, I have my plants displayed on the top as well as that little cabinet. And then on the bottom in the little cubbies, I have books again, and it just makes me so happy seeing them paired together. This shelf really does just bring me so much joy. It's one of my favorite things. I love the baskets too. I have just random like plant supplies and stuff stored in there, and it's a really effective way to have that stuff close at hand, but to have it hidden away. I just love the way everything works together in this little space. It's so cute, and Calyx shelves are so readily available. It's just from IKEA. They're cheap to buy new, but you can also find them on Facebook Marketplace probably. Like, I feel like they're kind of a dime a dozen at this point. Like, somebody will have one kicking around that they probably want to get rid of or something. And obviously you don't have to put books in the cubbies if you don't want to. You could put more plants, you could put maybe something else that you collect that you're passionate about. Yeah, I just love this one so much. And then the other shelf that I wanted to talk to, my other favorite kind of little planty shelf area, is this one right here. This one is also from IKEA. IKEA honestly just comes through for plant people. I think that this shelf is called the Lister Bee, but I'll have everything, of course, linked down below in the description box. But I just love the way this one looks. I love the wood. I love the 2 levels. Right now I have just some plants that I'm preparing for a trade living down there. And there's a grow light mounted on the top there, as you can see. I used to have my cactus and succulents down there. It's just nice to have a kind of extra little planty area. Very handy. And then I have some of my moss poles. I just love the way that this area looks. I rearrange it somewhat frequently, and I also switch out the decor depending on the season. I love putting some Halloween decor in the fall and just doing fun things like that. So yeah, this is just another setup that I really love, and I do get questions about this shelf, so I'm glad to kind of highlight it and talk about it more and let y'all know where you can get it. And it also works really well with the what's it called, moss pole supports up there too, because they're like a similar kind of, I just feel like they match really nicely, and I like that I have enough space underneath those to have some moss poles on here. I would prefer not to have a grow light in front of there, but it's not that bad, honestly, and it's just, it kind of needs to be there because these plants would not be getting enough light, since the light primarily, like, they get some morning light, but then the sun very quickly moves behind them, so it is important to have that grow light there. But sometimes you just need to make sacrifices. I've tried to make the grow lights in my space look nice, and I feel like I've done a pretty good job of that. But sometimes they can be inconvenient, and that's just the way it is. So yeah, I love the hanger that my Rousseau grow light is on over here. This is my Vitcho shelf. I have videos on this as well, but I'm not really going to talk about this area in this video because it's just not my favorite right now. Actually, I do have one thing to talk about on here, but we'll get to that. Actually, maybe we will talk about that next, because I think I'm pretty much done talking about my favorite little shelf setups. So the next thing that I want to talk about is basically enclosures for plants. So cloches, terrariums, cabinets, whatever you can really pop your plant into. The nice thing about these setups is that usually they're functional. They keep humidity in and create a nice environment for your plant and allows you to grow different types of plants, but I really love the way that they look as well. I think that it just adds such a cool vibe to the space. So I'll talk about cloches first. Okay, so I have a few different styles of cloche in my home. That's just the term for any, like, you know, when there's this piece of glass that's kind of going over a plant and creating a bit of a humidity dome. This is a more short and wide one, but I have some that are taller. They come in, you know, all types of different styles and colors. This one is again just from IKEA. I know I have a lot of stuff from IKEA, but I love that they just give like such a cool kind of witchy vibe, and they really can just add a lot of interest to your plant shelf rather than just having a bunch of plants just like all in a row displayed. They're usually pretty cheap, and I honestly feel like it's like an underrated way to display your plants. This is my Libicea electric pink, and she is pretty much outgrowing this one already, so I'm gonna have to move her soon, but she's been loving the higher humidity in there, and she just looks so cool. Like, she looks very it just gives such a, I don't know, like you're collecting weird things, or you're like a botanist from the 1800s or something. I don't know, I love the look of cloches. I think that they're so fun. This is another one that I have. It's gold. I have my vanilla orchid in here. It's giving Beauty and the Beast, honestly. It's just so cool. I also have one that looks like a crystal ball that I like to use around fall time as well. There's also like these little mini terrarium kind of things. I just got this from somebody off of Facebook, and I don't even keep it closed. Like, I'm not even using it for humidity. I'm just using it literally as a display for these pinguicula because I just thought that they looked cute in here. You can see they're just in plain plastic nursery pots. Oops, I spilled the water out, shoot. They're in a container because this isn't watertight, so I'm gonna have to go and sort this out. But they're just in, the plants are just in little nursery pots, so I wanted to just kind of dress them up a little bit. Okay, so moving into larger enclosures, I have a few different IKEA greenhouse cabinets. This one right here is the Ackerbar, and this is my begonia greenhouse. It's the smallest cabinet that I have, and although they don't come like as functional greenhouses or cabinets, I had to do weather stripping and everything like I did for my other cabinets as well. But I've kind of turned it into a functional greenhouse slash terrarium situation. But you can do that easily with a lot of different things, like even just a bin, like a clear bin. But the reason that I love this so much is just because it looks so nice. I think that it just adds so much to this shelf that I was just showing you. It's very eye-catching. I think it's just the perfect display, especially for begonias. It just looks so cool, and it really highlights them and makes these plants stand out in a way that I don't think that they necessarily would if they weren't in this display case. Like, it really just draws the eye in and you can appreciate all of them. Of course, my space is getting a little cluttered now and I have to move these plants out of the way every time that I want to open it, but that's fine. I'm just in love with the way that it looks in this living space, and I used to just have more plants in that spot, but it's really nice to kind of break up just having plants on top with having this nice display right there. And then we have my larger greenhouse cabinets. So this one right here sits in my living room, and it is my Millsbow wide, so it's the shorter, wider form of the Millsbow, and I love having this in here because it sits underneath my TV, so it's just, I don't know, it's just, it kind of like ties this whole space together, I feel. I think that cabinets add a really cozy vibe to a room, especially when it's evening because they have grow lights in them, obviously. So when your house is darker and then you just have the kind of like ambient lighting from the grow lights being on inside there, and you can really just appreciate all the plants, like that's really when they're on full display. Yeah, I love them so much. I've had my IKEA cabinets running for years now at this point, and they're honestly one of my favorite ways to display plants, and I feel like I will always keep some type of cabinet in my home. Oh, also very functional because we have the artificial lighting for the plants, very consistent, nice lighting that they appreciate. And then we also have the higher humidity, of course. Over here, we have my Millsbow tall cabinet. This was my first cabinet that I ever got, so it holds a very special place in my heart. I love it so much. And again, I just feel like it looks so good in this space. Like, it really, there's this little, like, you know, you can see where the wall like comes out and it's flat here, and my cabinet literally fits perfect there. I feel like it was just meant to be. The previous owner had a TV mounted there, which in my opinion, this is a much better way to utilize this space. I have a playlist that goes into depth about all of my cabinets, my Millsbow tall, my Millsbow wide, and I also have a video talking about the Ackerbar begonia greenhouse. So I'll link that playlist in the description box so you can check out any videos on there that might give you more information about these cabinets if you're interested in them as well. They undeniably just add a cool vibe to the house. People always point them out when they come and visit as well. I'm definitely not the first person who's done this, but I just love how innovative plant people are. Like, whoever came up with turning these IKEA greenhouse cabinets into this, thank you. Okay, we're crouched down here by the cabinet again, but something else that I wanted to mention that might seem obvious, but that I didn't really appreciate or utilize much until recently is just fun planters. I never used to really focus on buying planters and pottery and stuff like that, but over the past year to maybe 2 years, the past couple years, I've really been focusing on that more, and it's totally transformed my space. So I just wanted to show you this tiger one as my first example because this is just so fun and quirky. I love just the pop of color and how cute it is. I have a halo micans in there, and it just always catches my eye. Like as soon as I look in this cabinet, I see this tiger chill in here, and I think that it's just so fun. Planters are such a great way to express your personality with your plants. I love seeing what people put their plants in. It's obviously going to be different for everybody depending on your taste. So I have lots of just like fun pops of color in this cabinet with the planters in here. And also fun propagation vessels. I've had this for a while. I've had this for like a year. But I got this vase. This I was actually using for propagations before, which I'll probably use it for that again. But for now, it just has 2 air plants in it, and it's kind of a fun way to display them. I just kind of pop them in there. But yeah, you can use all types of different vases for propagation or for like finding different ways to display plants like this. I love this one because it has kind of like that iridescent effect, and it reminds me of my rainbow sun catchers. I've seen people do semi-hydro with these too, like put pawn or leca in them. Another just like cute propagation vessel here, and my Hoya blooms that are coming off of my multiflora. Oh, undeniably, one of my coolest and most unique planters in my collection is this UFO planter. This is just like the craziest thing. I actually used this for one of my spooky repot videos last fall, but this is exactly the kind of thing I like. It's just so different and so unique. This is handmade by Mipa's Pots and Plants, I think. And I love it so much. I got the pink one. The top is pink. I know you're probably not gonna be able to tell because it's backlit right now, but yeah, the plant comes out the bottom, and I have a Hoya linearis in there, which is one of my all-time favorite plants, and it's just so different and so cool. So I really love that one. Another playful one is my disco ball planter, which I know a lot of people have these, and for good reason. They're so cute, and they also add like sparkles all around your house when the light hits them. Mine really only sparkles again during the fall or during the early spring, and I guess the winter. I don't know why I'm just saying fall and spring for these sun catchers in this thing. Basically whenever the sun is low enough in the sky to hit it. Right now we're in summer, so, well, we're not in summer, but we're almost in summer. We're in June, and the sun is too high, so it doesn't hit it. But during the rest of the seasons, it honestly makes it so stunning in here with all of the light on the walls. I've also recently gotten into supporting different artists with handmade pottery. One of my favorites is solarium, and that's not really something that I ever prioritized in the past. Like, I would just mostly focus on buying plants, but now it's fun to treat myself every once in a while and get a beautiful handmade planter. I know not everybody has the extra money to spend on something like that, but you can also thrift a lot of really cool and unique planters as well, or, you know, Facebook Marketplace, buying secondhand, estate sales, which are a big thing in the US that I wish we had here because I always see people find cool things. Or you can just DIY pots, which is another really great option, and also something that I want to talk about because I've made some cool pots out of random things, like a doll's head that I got from the thrift store. And I know this obviously isn't going to be to everybody's taste, but I think that this is just super weird and an interesting way to display a plant. I made this again for a spooky repot video that I did last October. And my Hoya Chinghungensis has been living her absolute best life in here. She is so long now. It's crazy, and actually about to bloom. So how cute is that? But yeah, it just goes to show that you can make a planter out of pretty much anything. This was a really fun one to make, and you can also just like paint terracotta pots. I've done a few myself, mostly for my like holiday pot painting, but I have some really stunning ones that were not made by me, but I love them so much. And if you're crafty, I feel like it's a really great option. You can personalize a pot however you like. This one from Svetlana, Firefly in the Room, I'm literally obsessed. This is obviously olive. So cute. I just moved my alocasia out of here like 2 days ago, so I need to find a different plant to go in this one. But yeah, you can make them so personal. Okay, I'm just gonna share a couple of random styling things to wrap up this video. So I actually got this idea from one of y'all who messaged me on Instagram and was showing me around their plant collection. And it's just to use a larger pot to group together. Like if you have a few plants in just like smaller nursery pots, because it doesn't look very nice to have just, you know, I mean, these are obviously cups. It doesn't look very nice to just have them all just like displayed out on a shelf. But grouping them together, and I mean, this isn't the best example because obviously they're like taller than this pot, but they just look so much nicer and tidier and cuter, in my opinion, to have them just like gathered together in a larger pot. I also did this recently with some of my newer Hoya that were in nursery pots. I just had them all grouped together in a little container. It was this one, and they're potted up now, so I can't really show you what they looked like, but they just looked so cute sitting in here. And this is just a random bowl that I got from HomeSense. I keep saying that I want to use this for my pinguiculas, and I do, and I plan to do that. So hopefully I'll have a video for you guys sometime soon of me styling my pinguiculas better, some of my carnivorous plants, because that's something that I really want to put some energy into. But yeah, I think that this is just so cute. And I just randomly came across that. It wasn't even with the plant pots. So I guess that's another tip, to keep your eye out for things just anywhere, basically. When you're a crazy plant person, you can make anything planty, right? Okay, this is gonna be hard to see. I know it's a little backlit. Sorry, there's not much I can do about that, but I'm sure that you'll get the gist because this is a fairly simple one, and I see a lot of people display houseplants like this, but it's just utilizing a curtain rod for hanging plants. I've done that with both of the windows in here, and it's allowed me so much freedom with my hanging plants. Like I can just hook them on there. I don't have to worry about drilling into the ceiling or anything like that. It's very easy, and I just love the way it looks. And it also kind of provides some privacy. Like it's literally like a plant curtain. When I take the plants down from here to water them, I feel like people can just see right in, and I don't like that. Like I feel nice and protected with them on there. I don't know, I just really love having them hanging there. I would feel very exposed without them. You obviously want to make sure that your curtain rod can hold the support of the plants. Mine are fairly heavy duty and screwed in there very securely. I do have some rather big plants on there that probably shouldn't be on there, but so far it's been fine. But just keep that in mind if you do decide to do the same thing. But yeah, it looks so cool, and it's just a great plug and play option to be able to display your hanging plants. I mean, I guess if you don't have a curtain rod, you would have to install one, but if you already have one, like we already had this installed here when we moved in, so I was able to just stick my plants on there, and super easy, love it. And also the plants get awesome light because they're right in the window. I don't know if you can tell, but this window over here gets a little bit more direct light because there's not like an overhang outside blocking it. So I have, you know, some of my cactus and more sun-loving plants. And then over here, it is a lot more shaded. They still get bright indirect light, but it's a lot more shaded. I would love to eventually have plants up on that little ledge up there, if you can see that. Like some nice trailing plants, like even these, like two that I have up here, I could put them up there. I just haven't yet because it's high enough that the coffee maker is going to be noisy for a second here, just wait. Okay, yeah, I just haven't put plants up there yet because it's tall enough that that's about 10 feet up, so I would need a ladder to get up there to water the plants, so they would definitely have to be in self-watering so that I wouldn't have to climb up there very often. And yeah, I would just need to figure out a method for doing that that wouldn't be a complete pain in the butt, but I honestly do think that I would just need like a big ladder. And I know myself, and I know that I would not want to do that. Okay, and then we're back in the bedroom because I realized I forgot to talk about my pothos mirror here. This is one of my favorite ways to style plants, even just like up walls in general. But specifically I have this one around this mirror, and I think that it looks so cute. Now this will work even better if you get better light where you have a mirror, because this one doesn't get a ton of light, so it's not like super lush or anything. But I just took the pots right here, and then I just took the vine and used little command hooks to secure the vine around the mirror. Looks like it could be secured even. I should get another one to put right there. But yeah, it just looks so cute. It adds a whole just little botanical vibe to my bookshelf area. I love it so much. I love taking photos in this mirror because look, it gives like a nice little leafy frame. I did this like a year ago now. I think it was right after we moved in here. This is one of the first like plant styling things that I did in this home, and I still have it up and I still love the way it looks. So I think that is it. That is everything that I had on my list to show y'all. I hope that you enjoyed. I hope that you got some ideas or maybe inspiration. I think that it just comes down to being creative, trying different things, and just doing what you want. I can't emphasize it enough. You don't have to fit inside a box. Try different things, experiment. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. Again, it is just a joy to share my thoughts with you, share my space with you, and share my plants with you. Thank you so much for watching, and a huge thank you to Brooklinen for sponsoring this video. Don't forget, you can get 15% off your first order if you shop through the link down below. We love our cozy bed, so yeah, thanks Brooklinen. Alright, thank you so much for watching. Leave me a comment down below. I would love to chat with you. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and make sure you're subscribed for more planty content. Alright, I will see you in the next one. Bye!